Back. We're excited because we're bringing a bonus recipe for you guys today.
You get 2 recipes this week.
Yes, and not only that, we're actually going to show you how to make it.
Are you ready?
Yeah. So we are making smoked okra dip.
That is
today.
awesome. Okay, tell us more about it.
It's coming from the cookbook Black Girl Baking. It's by Jerrelle Guy. And I think it's an amazing dish because she's incorporating okra, which is typically like slimy. Not a lot of people like to eat it, but it's mixed in with all these cheeses, and then you just throw it in the oven, bake it a little bit, and just serve it with some tortilla chips. It's amazing, and it's quick, and yeah.
Because okra is the one vegetable that, for example, I didn't grow up with it, so I don't necessarily reach for it at the store, or don't think of really buying it.
Right.
But let's try this dip. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Are you guys ready?
All right, guys, we have a pan that's heated to medium. We're going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I just eyeball it, but you can measure it out if you don't feel comfortable with eyeballing.
There you go. I was going to ask, do you cover your pan?
I do. I swirl it around, and you know that the olive oil is hot enough when it's glistening and it can move freely in your pan. And then we're going to go ahead and add a shallot. So I just took 1 shallot and it's just diced up, and we're going to toss it in the pan. Get it all, get it all. So we added the shallot in, and we're just going to cook it in the olive oil until it softens a bit. Nice and translucent.
So what got your attention about this dish? Or about this recipe?
I love savory foods. And it's interesting because it's a baking cookbook, so she has lots of different desserts in there. But I was like, oh, there's just something savory. And one of my go-to snacks are dips. I like creamy, I like cheesy. And then I was like, okra, this is a different way to use okra.
Right.
Typically I've eaten it either fried or in gumbo, and I think that's how most people enjoy it because it has, a slimy texture to it typically, which is not so appetizing to a lot of people, but it's that sliminess that actually thickens stews like your gumbo or other soups and things like that. So yeah, I'm all about the cheese and the savoriness of dips. So I knew I just had to try this.
Very cool. Yeah.
All right, we're going to add in a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes. The recipe calls for a ½ teaspoon. I know that Lord doesn't like spicy, so we went a little light on it.
And I thank you for that.
But feel free to add the whole ½ teaspoon if you like, or, a quarter, maybe just a little sprinkle. We're going to mix that in, and then I've got 8 okra pods, and what we do is just cut the tops off and then slice them in half lengthwise and then widthwise. We're going to add a little bit of fresh cracked pepper to taste and a little bit of salt to taste. And then we're just going to mix this up until the okra softens just a little bit. And you'll notice as the okra starts to cook, again, it gets that slimy texture, but the beauty of this dip, I think, is that when you mix it with all the cheeses, you don't even taste the sliminess.
No, absolutely not.
So I liked that okra is used in this dish because it actually is native to Africa. So I was like, well, that's, kind of cool. And okra was brought over to the Caribbean as well as the Southern United States during the slave trade in the 1600s. And what I didn't know, and I found very, very interesting, is that okra is botanically a cousin of cotton. So it can grow in the same soils, if you will, regions that cotton does. Makes sense because if we talk about, plantations, and many plantations were growing cotton, they could also plant okra during okra season and have lots of it, and the slaves would pick it, and then they could use it in the different foods. So I can imagine that's where kind of gumbo came from, or why they added that, and they find that, it can thicken those those stews. You know, you can also make like an okra stew or okra soup with it. So it was easily grown where cotton was also grown. That's why I was like really drawn to this, because like I said, I've eaten okra fried. I think it's amazing. Slice it up, bread it, and fry it. And I've also had it in gumbo. But again, because of that slimy texture, you know, most people aren't drawn to it. It's not as great if you just saute and eat it like that. But once this gets mixed with all the cheeses, I don't even think you'll taste it. So you have, you know, kind of like a nice crunch. You still have that okra flavor, but then you have all the cheesy gooiness to go with it. All right, this looks good. We're gonna go ahead and turn this off and just set this aside. Now that we are done sauteing the okra and shallot, we are gonna get mixing with all the good ingredients. So we have 1 package of softened cream cheese, so 8 ounces of cream cheese that we're gonna add into our bowl. We're also going to add a little bit of Greek yogurt. So this is about 1/3 cup of Greek yogurt. Just gonna throw in there. We're also gonna add 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. This is optional, but I like the creaminess to go with the dip, so yeah. I'm gonna add it. If you have like an egg allergy or, you know, you don't eat eggs, then feel free to leave it out.
Yeah, mayo is optional. For me, it's actually not that optional.
I mean, it's good. It's good when it's mixed in.
It is, yeah.
Just a teaspoon of mild hot sauce. If you like it spicier, add in spicy. But again, it's not that much, just enough to give it a nice little bit of heat, just a little bit. And then we have a mix of 3/4 cup smoked Gouda, as well as a 1/2 cup of shredded mozzarella that we're gonna mix into as well. And then just a little more pepper to here, a little bit of salt to taste. And then we're just gonna mix this up so it gets all nice and creamy.
Your cream cheese is already soft because it's at room temperature. If you forget to take it out, any tips on how to quickly bring it up to room temperature?
Honestly, I like to just kind of put it in my hands. You know, it's in the foil packaging. So I kind of just like to squeeze it in my hands a little bit and warm it up with my hands.
That's a good one. Yeah, with butter you kind of can put that in the microwave for like a few seconds.
Right.
But I wouldn't do that.
You're not trying to burn your kitchen down by putting foil in your microwave.
Oh yeah, you don't put the I would say you're not taking it out of the foil. But even then, I'd be a little bit hesitant to put cream cheese in the microwave. But yeah, with the hand is a good idea while it's still wrapped up in the foil.
So we're just gonna use a little muscle if you need to, just to mix it in. We really want to make sure that the cream cheese is incorporated with everything. So you don't have like big chunks of cream cheese in there. You know, Laura, another thing I was reading up on when I was kind of looking into okra a little bit more was the uses of okra. Okay. So if you were to see, you know, how okra grows, it's kind of grown on a big, I guess, bush, if you will. I don't know. They get really, really tall bushes. They can get crazy tall. But that you can eat almost the entire bit of okra. So there's leaves kind of similar to beet greens. If you get beets, you know, there's leaves that are attached to the top of beets. The okra greens, you can actually chop up and saute them and eat them just like that. So if you saute them maybe with some onions, throw it together with like some eggs or something like that, the leaves are actually edible. And the other thing that I found out is that you can preserve okra. So typically, at least out here, you can get okra fresh late spring, early summer, around then. And if you wanted to preserve it for later on, you can either pickle the okra, similar to what you would do with like cucumbers or other things like that, or you can actually also dry them out. But the coolest thing that I read about was the seeds. So the seeds can be pressed and turned into an oil for cooking.
Oh wow, okra oil?
Yeah, okra oil. Who knew, right? So, I mean, again, like you're not wasting anything. You're using the leaves, you're using the seeds, you're using the okra itself, you're preserving it so you can eat it later. But back in the South, the United States South, during the Civil War, they would actually take the seeds and they would roast them and grind them, and they would turn it into a caffeine-free coffee.
Coffee out of okra. Oh,
out of okra seeds.
That is so interesting.
So yeah, so you know, I don't know exactly how to do it, but that's another way to use. So it's like okra is so versatile, and you can do like so many things with all the different parts of okra. I feel like that's also why it's stuck around.
Right.
Because you're not wasting anything.
That is awesome. Well, now you've piqued my interest with coffee.
Yeah, right? Caffeine free too. So if you needs that, I guess maybe coffee taste, I don't know what it would taste like. I don't drink coffee, but caffeine free, I guess a nice substitute to it.
Right.
Especially, you know, while we're still in this pandemic, if somehow coffee grinds, you know, are gone,
right,
go get some okra.
Go get some okra. Wow, that is interesting.
Right? So we've mixed this up. The cream cheese is thoroughly incorporated. And now we're just going to fold in our okra and shallot mix. So we're going to grab that from the stove. It should be nice and pulled off by now. Looking pretty tasty. Just going to toss that into the bowl. I like to scrape it all. I'm not leaving any waste in the pan. And then we're just going to gently fold our okra and shallots in, just so it's incorporated. This smells good.
It does smell wonderful. We have the smokiness of the Gouda.
Yes.
And just...
You know, it would
onions.
taste just a little bit better with this. If you were to add some cooked chopped bacon in here,
ooh,
I think that would take it to another level. But again, if you're a vegetarian, you know, stay clear. But
bacon makes everything
I'm just saying, bacon in a dip, just amazing.
That would be just amazing.
All right, and then we have a 16-ounce just ramekin dish. Basically, you know, you could use anything that can go in the oven. So a smaller dish, whatever, but we are gonna go ahead and add that in here.
That looks delicious. How long does this need to go in the oven for?
So we're gonna put it in a preheated oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're just gonna bake it for about 10 to 12 minutes. So that's it. It's not gonna take very long.
Not bad, yeah.
At all.
Really quick.
All right, so now that our mixture is all in there, and I've stuffed it to the brim, because why not? We're actually gonna finish it off with a little more Gouda.
You always use more cheese.
And it'll give it a nice little crust on top, because why not? And then we're actually gonna give it a little bit of color with some smoked paprika. Now the recipe calls for just regular paprika, but I like smoked paprika, and since we're using the smoked Gouda, I'm like, why not? Why not add a little extra smoky taste? So add some beautiful color, a little bit of paprika, and now we're just gonna toss this in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, basically until the cheese is all melted. Got a little bit of crust going on, and then we'll eat it with our chips.
That sounds yummy. Okay. Well, we'll see you on the other side. Okay.
All right.
The dip is out of the oven.
It is. It looks amazing.
It looks really good. Are you ready to try it?
I am ready to try it.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.
That is pretty good. But I feel we need one more opinion.
Okay.
My husband is working from home and he kept mentioning how delicious this is. So,
oh man.
Well, it smells so good.
it smells good, right? Give it a go. Could smell that cheese.
Oh.
Could smell that okra.
Got it.
Tasty.
Tasty.
Yeah.
And the okra is so like you don't have any sliminess to it. It has like a nice texture.
Did you have an okra? Here,
Yeah.
I'll try it with an okra.
I think so. Thank you.
Good?
Nice.
Yeah? Yeah? You approve?
Yes.
That's
Definitely.
a good one.
Awesome. Oh man, this I could like eat a whole thing of this.
So good.
I know.
This is amazing.
Now I can't stop.
I know. Well, you're gonna have to try this.
This is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I can totally see this in the future of this house. As a staple for, you know, I don't know.
I think anything.
Any occasion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
This is a great like Super Bowl dip, or you know when we finally have get-togethers, get-together dip, or
A movie night dip.
a movie night dip. Absolutely.
Game night dip.
Or
You could even do it in like smaller ramekins and you have your personalized
absolutely,
dip.
absolutely.
This is really good, you guys.
Man, so
So,
check out Jerrelle Guy's cookbook, Black Girl Baking. She's got amazing recipes in there. And we will have the full recipe up for you so you can read along or just follow along with this video to try this out. But don't miss this one. This is amazing.
good.
Yes.
this is good. Okay. Well, we'll continue to enjoy
Yes,
this.
we're just going to be here eating.
Yeah.
So don't mind
We'll
us.
We'll see you later.
Bye.
Oh, this is good.